What are we doing, babe?
We are riding e-bikes through the tulip fields in the Netherlands.
We have been planning this for almost 5 years. I told Steve when we first started traveling that if we're ever in Europe in April, I want to ride e-bikes through the tulips. So we've got our bikes. There's our bikes. They're really nice bikes.
And you can see we're kind of, bundled up a little bit. It's about 60,
I would
maybe
say,
50.
yeah.
I think it might still be in the 50s. But it's supposed to warm up today, so it should be
The first warm day of the spring.
It's still early, and our next stop is going to be the Keukenhof Gardens, which is the pre-ultimate place to display the flowers of the season. And we're going to be passing through tulip fields on the way.
So we asked about helmets. What did they say?
No.
Do you have
It's
any
not a
helmets?
helmet culture. Nobody's wearing like reflective gear.
Yeah.
Nobody's wearing helmets. You'll see lots of bikes and trikes, and this is just the way that.
It's almost like we said a 4-letter word. Do you have any helmets? No. So off we go with our caps on. All right, next stop, tulips.
Tulips.
Oh, in this video,
Tulips.
so we've already ridden about, 20K or something like that, right? Anyway, we're about halfway to the tulip fields. So in this video, we're going to tell you all about our tulip adventure through the Netherlands.
So if you've ever done cherry blossoms in Japan, this is tulips in the Netherlands.
Yes.
And we are really excited about sharing with you our adventure, our logistics, where we flew into, where we stayed, and where we got our bikes from. We want you to be able to do this as well.
Yeah.
This is a blast. We were just having so much fun, and
and how much everything costs. So we'll
Exactly.
lay out
We'll know
how
the
everything costs. And if you're an American who's never ridden bikes much, or you haven't ridden bikes in the Netherlands, we'll touch on that about how to get your bike, how the bike lanes work, how the bike traffic systems work. It is so easy.
This is such a bike culture. The bike lanes are so smooth and easy to navigate.
And protected bike lanes, it's just unbelievable. So this whole video is going to walk you through how to do 48 hours checking out the tulips in the Netherlands. So here comes Steve coming in for a landing right here at our first tulip fields. But this is unbelievable. They have all these protected bike lanes and a whole traffic system with lights that are just for bikes, and stop signs that are just for bikes, and turning lanes that are just for bikes. It is unbelievable how easy it is to get on a bike. So this is my bike. It is an e-bike, and right here's the battery. And there's no gears. There's actually just 4 speeds on the bike and a bell. And there's this whole self-locking mechanism on the back tire. You just do the key and the back tire locks back here, or you can use the chain to go completely around the bike. It's really unbelievable how efficient these bikes are. So we've come across our first honest box. So this is a tulip stand, and you can see the tulips right behind us. It's €8 for one thing of tulips, or 2 for 15. You can scan and pay with your Visa or whatever, or the money's on the side of the tube, and you come here and you put your €8 for your tulips. So we're on our way to the Keukenhof Gardens, which is the big famous gardens. But this is another place you can go where you pay for an entry fee, and then there's all these different places, sets within the tulips that you can take your selfies and things. There's a cart, and there's a windmill, and there goes the train, and different little cute things. I wish you could smell. I wish we had smell-o-vision. The smell around here is unbelievable. It's this really sweet, fragrant, fresh, wonderful flavor. I wish we had smell-o-vision. So we got to the gardens and we had to park our bikes. The place is packed. We're here at about 11:30. We have tickets for 12 o'clock. It is April 6th, and You can just see the entire parking lot is packed. People are overflowing. The bikes are overflowing out of the parking thing. But we found a spot, so we've locked them all up, and here we go. So we got our tickets online several months ago, and there's the current prices. You get a timed entry for arrival. So we brought our own chips, but then we got bone me sandwiches. Steve is cheating on the chicken. And I got tofu. How much were these?
€11 each.
€11 a piece. So there's a lot of people here. We had timed entry tickets. We got here about 15 minutes before our entry and they let us in, and they did not seem to be limiting to when you arrived on what time you could go in. So I don't know. You know, your mileage may vary, but we got here at 11:45. They let us in for a 12 o'clock ticket. So we've come inside the greenhouse, and the vibrancy of the flowers is unbelievable. Like, it's like color vision on steroids. It's so vibrant. And you can see just flowers everywhere. Orchids, crocuses, hyacinths, tulips, of course, and all variations of them. And all these, they've got names on them. Oh, this one's negligee, and salmon desert, and of course I'm sure you can probably buy them too. But wow, you like tulips, you gotta get here. So we've been in Holland for about a week, and this is the first day that the temperature has been above 50. I'd say it's probably 60, and it's bright and sunny. We've had snow, we've had rain, we've had sleet, we've had hail, fog and mist, and this is the first pretty day that we have had in the 10 days that we've been here. It is April 6th. So there are websites that have tulip trackers that can tell you whether or not you're at peak or not. I do not think we are at peak, but we are pretty close to it, I would think. This is so amazing. So, as far as you can see, fields and fields and fields and fields and fields of flowers. This reminds me of when I was a kid growing up in North County in San Diego, all the carnation fields that you could see off of the 5. Reminds me of that. Feels like home. So they also have special exhibits, and we are on the last day of the roses exhibit. So the roses are a little bit brown, but there's still an extraordinary display of roses. Look at that pretty rose right there, all in blue. So yeah, you can certainly buy bulbs. There's a bag for 16. And then all across the wall back there, all kinds of tulips. Here's different bulbs and things for €10. Bee-friendly purple bulbs, white bulbs, you know, all the bulbs you'd ever want to have. And this is the small store. I couldn't even get into the big store. So one side of the gardens is completely manicured with laid out tulip beds and very organized. And then you get over to this side of the gardens and it's like walking through the woods, like a manicured yet wild woods. I bet when the spring brings out those leaves, it's unbelievably gorgeous, but it's really nice and you can hear the birds, and then you'll come across a daffodil patch. It's just really a lovely little meander through the woods. And then there's also an orchid show. Orchids, orchids, orchids. Lady slipper. Orchids. Again, the smell-o-vision, if you could only smell this beautiful orchid scent, it is really over the top in here. So there's certainly a lot of people here, but it's very well managed, and if there's any lines, they move really quickly. There are toilets everywhere. There's all kinds of restaurants and little food stands. You can buy ice cream and strawberries, and like we showed earlier, we had some sandwiches, and it's a nice, lots of places to sit down on benches up in the woods and so on. So even though there's a lot of people here, it's pretty reasonable. I do have to say though that the line at the windmill was very long, and we decided not to go up the windmill. Right, we're doing it, babe. Woohoo! We're riding 6 white horses. Anyway, it's super, super easy most of the way. The paths are super well marked. The traffic signs for bikes are super easy to follow. We don't have any bike traffic here. We have had some bike traffic, but this is just glorious. So we came across this hand-pulled ferry that takes you to this windmill. We're riding our bikes after being in the tulip fields for the day to our Airbnb. So this is our little room. We are in a little teeny tiny town. I don't even know the name of this town. Do you remember, Steve?
I don't.
We'll put the name of the town down below. But it's so cute. We have a tulip on the water tower or on the silo, or not sure what that is. We'll find out. And Steve got us a nice king-size bed with this little view. And I'm not sure what the ladder is. That's the escape. Oh, it goes up to the attic. All right. And then around here to the back, we're up on the 3rd floor. A nice bathroom that will do, with a toilet. So, got what we need for the night. Even with extra pillows. Okay, we're getting ready to get our bike batteries. Steve's gonna demonstrate that they're functional. Not only are they bike batteries, but they're bench presses. So I know there's some sort of conspiracy theory about contrails.
Yeah, for sure.
I have no idea what it is, but it's alive and well here in the skylands above Amsterdam in the Netherlands. There are contrails everywhere you look, in every direction, at every altitude. What's that all about? So we thought, why not? We're in tulip country. Let's go to the Tulip Museum. So we're going to the Museum of the Black Tulip. It's €10 to get in. So the tulip actually started in Asia, over in Turkey, and I love how they map this, the growth of the cultivation of the tulip all the way from Turkey across all the way through Asia. Now, the whole museum is in Dutch, and of course we can scan different things, and they gave us handouts to read in English, but it's really fascinating because they've got all of the original equipment that was used in order to cultivate the tulips, and the history of all the tulips, and the old farm equipment, and then how a tulip seed and bulb turn into a tulip flower. It's really, really nicely done museum. Definitely worth the €10. So make sure you come in and take a look. You know, you'd see one field, you think you've seen them all, and then you just have to stop and look at another field. So just in 2 days, things are blooming even more than they were a couple days ago. We just overheard a tour talking about how the majority of the tulips are actually grown in warehouses and managed by robots. They grow them 3 layers deep so that they have basically 3 picking seasons that the robots manage for. Anyway, there's over 1 million tulips that show up in the Tulip Parade this coming weekend. Unfortunately, we will miss it. We got to come into the production side, the packaging side of this family farm. The whole family runs it. We spoke with grandmother, and then her son actually was just in San Diego on an English immersion program, and he was in class just 15 minutes from where I grew up, so that was fun to talk to him about. His English was beautiful, of course. Looks like they're separating out the bulbs here. We've seen a lot of these in different configurations, but they're pollinator hotels or bee colonies. Certainly these bees are doing a lot of work. All these pollinators are doing a lot of work taking care of these fields. So we stopped for a little lunch on our bike ride. Today we're just riding through all these different spots that we found. Steve found a couple things on All Trails and then some other websites and put together a custom route for us to ride. And we're just going to the different tiny flower shops. It's really kind of fun to support the local guy. So we're having a little lunch, and we thought we'd talk about the cost of the trip. So each night the Airbnb has been about €120, more or less than that each night. So
and it was all on Booking.
Yeah, we did on Booking, that's true. So we flew into Amsterdam, and then we took a train to The Hague. In The Hague, we stayed for a week at Hotel Nordeska on points with Chase, and it was about $100 a night or $125 a night, something like that.
Yeah, a little bit outside of town, but really close to the train station, which was actually across the street from us, and a bus station.
Yep.
So within 15 minutes, we were in the center of The Hague. So we didn't feel like we needed to be right in the center of town, since it was so easy to get to.
And so we spent a week in The Hague, did all kinds of great things, went to the Vermeer, went to the Escher Museum, went out to the beach, did a bunch of walking tours, and just really enjoyed The Hague. And then we took the train to Haarlem,
right?
And the Sprinter, and then when we got to Haarlem, we picked up the bikes. So we rented the bikes for 2 days. And how much were the bikes for 2 days?
So it was €120 total. So it was $30 per bike per person per day.
€30.
€30. Did I say that?
You said dollars.
€30.
So 120, so about $150 or so for the 2 bikes for 2 days.
For 2 days.
Yeah, which included chargers.
Everything was included. Chargers, locks. We already talked about. They didn't have
helmets.
It's like, oh no helmets. But these are like top of the line primo bikes. They have just been such a great resource for us.
I don't know if you heard Steve, but Steve, just such a great resource, he said. Sorry to take the microphone away from you.
That's okay.
And then we just had food along the way, not really, and a lot of grocery items, or we took things from the breakfast bar for our lunch. For dinner, we'll probably get a nice dinner in town in Haarlem. And what other expense? Oh, Keukenhof. I think it was €26 a person for Keukenhof.
Yeah.
the flower place yesterday, and then we went to the Tulip Museum this morning, which I said was €10. And I'll put the total of our trip on the screen as soon as we total it, and make sure, is that the make sure you subscribe button?
This is the subscribe, and here's the total.
Yeah. And then tomorrow we are going to take the train into Amsterdam and spend one day in Amsterdam, and then go back to the Hotel Nordeska in The Hague, and we'll stay there again another 2 days, and then we fly out of Amsterdam to Barcelona.
Yeah.
So
and I think this is the bottom line: is people think you've got to stay in Amsterdam. No, you don't. There are certainly more places that are more affordable and I think more interesting.
yeah, and it made us go to places that we don't think we would have gone to if we would have stayed in Amsterdam. And we've been in Amsterdam before; it's certainly a place to visit. But if you got 2 weeks, gosh, get out of Amsterdam, go to The Hague, go to Haarlem, go to Gouda. I was in there before. Gouda. I was there a week before Steve joined me, which was another great place to stay. So get out and enjoy the Netherlands. Leave Amsterdam and get out and enjoy it.
Country, yeah.
We'll see you next week.